All right, welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Box podcast. And today I am extremely excited to welcome Mr. Jeremy Bowman with UrbanImmersive. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, Lynette. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great conversation. We've kind of kept our eye on UrbanImmersive for the last couple of years, and have been really interested in what you guys are doing in the context of what we focus on this podcast, which is interesting things that are happening at the intersection of real estate, technology, and capital. And I think for a couple of reasons, you guys are even more interesting than kind of that normal path in this conversation. So I'm also really interested to dive in. So let's just jump right in. And why don't you kick us off, Jeremy, and tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about UrbanImmersive.
Yeah, so like you said, my name is Jeremy. I'm vice president with UrbanImmersive. I've been working with the company for a number of years now, and I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. Our company's headquartered out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We're a publicly traded company, and we've been around for about 13 years now. And one of our main products is 3D tours, and that's what we actually went public on 12 years ago. We invented a technology that we own. It's patented, and we had a lot of success with it early, but it was really before its time. So we've had to pivot and move a lot, and kind of go with the ebbs and flows of the real estate industry and technology. And it really focused on a lot of growth with a photography network and relationships that were happening within the business. And we find ourselves 12 years later as 3D tours coming back front and center as our main product now, and where we see a lot of growth in the industry. So we're really excited to be working with Reach Canada this year to be selected for the 2022 class. We've had our eye on you guys too for a little bit of while. We've wanted to be a part of it. We've applied before, and we're really happy to be selected this year to show everyone what we have.
Yeah. Awesome. So I want to sort of circle back again, like on this kind of unique way that you guys have come to market. So you mentioned you've been around for 12 years. You're sort of still in, I wouldn't say necessarily startup mode, but you're still in growth phase, obviously. Talk to us a little bit about the decision and the rationale around taking the company public.
Yeah, so the company went public a long time ago. So it did go public on 3D tours because there was Google Street View had basically come out around that time, and we had a similar experience to what the Google Street View would be with inside houses for residential, commercial, and the real estate for sale industry, right? And the technology was really well adopted, especially on resorts, hotels, because we have no limit to the size that we can do for our 3D tours. It worked really, really well on the larger properties, but our acquisition cost on the smaller properties was just far too high for it to be worthwhile at that point. And not a lot of people wanted to have 3D tours of their properties because internet restrictions, the speed, the bandwidth required to view those things, as well as most of the portals didn't accept them. So where are you going to actually see the 3D tour 12 years ago? Fast forwarding now, everyone wants to see it. Everyone wants to have those immersive experiences within houses. It's a lot easier to capture 3D tours now with, high quality images that are coming from these 360 cameras like Ricoh, Insta360, the other companies that are available. So we spent about 10 years building a marketplace and a software as a service where we sold directly to real estate photographers and real estate photography companies. We've built up the largest network of real estate photographers in North America. We work with them. We love them. We love our customers and our software as a service business. And we've always been white labeled. We've always been in the background. So we own a number of different brands, but those brands have always been behind our customers' brands. And one of our goals now, as we're bringing our 3D tours to the forefront, is getting our brand known out there so that we have real estate agents asking for our tours rather than just asking for a generic 3D tour. We think we have a lot of advantages, and we want to showcase those advantages and really, make a push to get ourselves out there and known.
Amazing. I love that. And so, it's interesting in the context of when you went public and sort of what that landscape looked like back then, and the reasons why it made sense to become a publicly traded company 12 years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about sort of the trends over that 12 years that have led to this point, that were maybe pivot points? And then, kind of from where we are now, some of those trends you see moving forward in the context of, rebranding, or not rebranding, but getting your brand out front, and, what that looks like over the next, 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that's stayed consistent with real estate, and we think it's going to remain consistent going forward, is, still photos. Really great photos are going to sell the house. That's going to be the number one driver and the number one visited spot on a listing. People are always going to want to jump back to, the master bedroom, or, the ensuite bath, see the kitchen, see those types of things involved with those listings. So they're always going to jump to those beauty shots and want to see them. However, we're seeing more and more of an adoption for add-ons for real estate listings as well, because people want to be involved. They want to be immersed. They want to experience, have interactive, visits to these listings as well. So we're seeing a big growth on video, walkthrough videos that we're seeing within the properties, and 3D tours. But we're still way behind some of the leading markets when it comes to 3D tours. And we feel there's a couple of reasons for that. So we started revamping our 3D tours about 12 months before the pandemic. So it was lucky for us. It was a great time to do that. We launched our product just as the pandemic was hitting, and we offered it for free to all of our photographers to help support them through the times, let them get more exposed to, some of the new technologies that are out there when it comes to 3D tours. And we saw an explosive growth early on during the pandemic because there were lockdowns. People were, unable to visit houses in person, but real estate never stops. It never sleeps. It never stops. It's always moving forward. So the 3D tours and the walkthrough videos gave that ability for it to keep moving. Then the market got so hot, so fast. I mean, you can sell a house with just an address now. You don't even need photos, really. That we saw a slowdown of some of those add-ons. So we've seen, a slowdown in the market of the adoption of those products. But what we do know is now that people have experienced them, they see the value of it when the market starts to slow down. So there's a couple of restrictions that there are for people being able to create 3D tours. One would be the camera, the equipment that you need, the know-how to create the tour as a photographer, and then, the user experience. So is the real estate agent going to take advantage of it? Are the people looking at the properties going to take advantage of that? And we've seen an exponential growth of adoption for all of those things. So we know, and we see that when the market starts to slow and get more back to normal levels for number of listings on the market, days on market for these listings, we think we're going to see an accelerated growth on all those add-ons. And we see 3D tours and floor plans being the main driver, because people want interaction. They want to live, they want to see, they want to experience what the space looks like. They might not want to buy the house strictly based on the 3D tour, but they want to see that layout. They want to not waste time. They want to, be able to either, yes, this is one I want to see in person. Yes, I can see myself living in this house, or no, let's get it off the list and go to the next one. And a 3D tour gives them that possibility. Videos, you have to watch it all the way to the end, right? It's hard to view a video of a house and actually understand the layout and where you are within that, because there's edits, there's cuts, you don't know where you are. You can't get that feeling. So we feel the adoption is really going to be on the interaction for the 3D tour side. And that's where we're positioned, and we're really happy where we're positioned in the market right now.
Very cool. So I have 100 questions for you, and I know that we have limited time, so I'll try and pare them down. But so I'm a seller. I want to sell my home. I want to portray it in the best possible way. And what I heard you just say is the value of your service is value of any, not just your service, but really the value of showing services, 3D tours, videos, whatever that is in a, let's call it a normal market. So not a stupid market where you just need an address, right? Normal market. How do I, go about finding Urban Immersive and, marketing my property with your product, with a 3D tour? And I know that you have some other cool things, but what does that currently look like? Who initiates the process? Who am I purchasing it through? Walk me through that.
Yeah, so Urban Immersive has the ability to go directly to real estate agents that are selling and want to do that themselves. We also have a network of photographers that you can reach out for and ask to for our
Okay.
products, right? So a lot of real estate agents will be using a professional photographer that's in our network. They can request our products, and they're going to get that, which is going to be nice. If they want to reach out directly to us, we can also push them in the right direction of who's going to be able to offer those services in their areas, because we do offer a wide range of products. We offer single property websites for our customers, so you can host and see that information. We have our 3D tours and our floor plans also available, so you can really present it all in a kind of all-in-one package in a nice place. And another thing that Urban Immersive has started to do is we've branched out and we've gotten into the service industry as well. So because we've always been a SaaS company and a technology-backed company, we saw a natural fit to move into the photography and service side as well, to really put our products front and center for our customers. So we've made about 5 acquisitions. We're in one major market right now, which is in Quebec, Canada, where our headquarters are. It was just natural for us to start in that market where we have a lot of employees and a lot of support being able to run these systems. And we're going to see some fairly large expansion happening over the next 6 to 12 months. So we look forward to opening up a marketplace of our brands and our service companies that are offering these in different geographical markets. And we'll really be putting that, front and center so people can easily find our services.
Amazing. I love that. Okay. So I'm going to flip that question around. So now I'm a buyer. I'm curious if, in this market, normalized market, if you have seen trends shifting, not just on the market, but on who's in the market and who's buying. And, I'm thinking about the fact that, I guess I'm a Gen Xer, but I live with a Zennial. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess when when you're kind of in Gen Z and you're kind of on the border of Gen Z and a millennial, you're a Zennial, who is, who really consumes content and thinks about how the information they need to make decisions in a very different way than I do. Have you seen any of sort of that demographic change impacting, either uptake or who is utilizing your products, or even how they want to consume real estate visualization?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's obviously a trend. There's still a lot of baby boomers around. There's still a lot of people that are, looking to downsize. And I remember when my parents were looking for a house, I got in the car with them on a Sunday and we were driving around in the neighborhood they wanted to move to, looking for open houses, like just seeing between 2 to 4 which houses were open that we could walk into, and it's changed dramatically. Now when I look for a house, I relied heavily on my real estate agent to take me around and find those bookings for me. That was a couple of years ago. Now I find myself just browsing the internet, just looking what listings are available and actually feeding those to my real estate agent saying, these are the ones that I want to see. And it's becoming more of a transactional market where people are finding them themselves. They're looking around for these types of things and feeding that information to the real estate agent. We see that continuing. And the younger population is driving that. The younger population is more adaptive to tech. They don't like even answering the phone, right? They'd rather do it over text than they would talking to someone in person. So we're seeing a lot more of adoption as, the real estate agents are getting a little bit younger, working a lot through text or messaging services. The buyers are getting younger as well, and really driving that change in the market and the adoption of technology. And, they're on their mobile devices or on their computer all the time. So there's less of that barrier for, entry to use it and to find their way around in these 3D tours.
Yeah. And I have to think that, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. No, it's okay. I'll remember it.
I was just sort of, as you were kind of articulating that, I was also, what seems so apparent to me, and I think, again, living in a house of both this Zennial and Zennial, I guess. Yeah, this is it's a new term that I'm getting used to. But also, I'm 11-year-old, right? And so watching how my kids kind of consume information, it's all on visualized content, right? Whether it's TikTok or Snapchat, all of the apps, but even when they're interacting on doing research, right? It's all through sort of visualized content. And I can't help but think that that's going to be a major driver in terms of the way that the consumer trusts the information that they receive on their home, right? So it used to be that you have to walk in and feel the home. Do you sense that that's shifting where there's, COVID notwithstanding, because obviously,
Yeah.
the whole social distancing thing required that. But I think just in terms of how this next wave of home consumers acquire the information they need to be confident in the purchase they make, do you see that becoming less hands-on and more visualized, or do you still see those as being very sort of congruent in the market? So very synonymous. Yeah, I want to do my search through the visualization, but ultimately I still want to touch, feel, and smell kind of what the home looks like.
Yeah, for sure. So I see that going in two different ways. People don't want to waste time now, especially the younger generation.
Yeah.
Everything's about
Yes.
speed. They don't even, they don't even like waiting for things to load in the background, right? They expect things instantaneously. I'm 37 years old and I find myself even doing that. But I have to think, this data is going to space and back. I can be a little bit patient here and wait for this
Right.
to load. But because of that fact that people don't want to waste time and they want things instantaneously, they also don't want to waste their time going to a house that they can cross off their list right away. So there's a lot of pre-qualification going on with people visiting these homes, and 3D tours gives them that feel like, I've been to that house, I know this layout does work, or I know it doesn't work, and I don't need to go see it in person. So I don't think it's ever going to eliminate that bulk of the market that is going to be doing that in-person buying, but it's definitely going to eliminate going to 40 houses and crossing 39 off the list the moment you walk through the front door. So it saves a lot of time on the buyer's side, and it saves a lot of time on the agent's side. And we have a really special product called our UI Meet 3D, which allows users to actually hold a video conference within the 3D tour. So you can actually visit the 3D tour with family, friends, coworkers, your agent, and go through a walkthrough of it. So you can have an actual conversation about the property while you're in the property. And that we see that being a huge driver that's going to help this side. And the other thing, with people purchasing is the pandemic has caused a lot more flexibility for being able to work from home, which means people can live further from the office, which means people are moving further geographically, but they're still relying on their local real estate agent to show them those things. 3D tours really opens that up and allows the real estate agent to say, okay, this is an hour drive, but let's take a walk through it,
before
virtually.
we commit to that hour of driving down the road and having to go and look at the property. Totally makes good sense.
Because pictures give you that view. And like I said at the start of this, they do really sell the house. You're always going to jump back to those beauty photos and say, I want to see what the bedroom looks like again. I want to picture that. But it doesn't give you the layout, the flow, which you need to either be there in person or go through a virtual tour through it. And videos don't give that either. The only thing that really gives you that look and feel is an immersive 3D tour like what we offer.
Yeah, I will say, and at the risk of plugging, just a personal experience here, Ghislaine, CEO, took Mike and I through the UI Meet product. And what really just resonated with me, again, was, we're in this virtual tour and, as avatars in the property. And I guess like you would when you're, visiting a home with your partner, Ghislaine and Mike were like checking out the kitchen and I was like upstairs checking out the bedrooms, like you actually can have that experience in this virtualized world where it's like, yeah, I just want to go and check this out. And, and then I came back down and kind of hung out where they were. And I'm like, oh, tell me a little bit about this. So I could envision that we were actually in the home having that experience, right? Which was so cool because I think, until this point, the tours have very much been just those stitched together photos and there is no interactive component. And so, it was a bit of that gamifying experience, right?
Exactly, yes.
But I think that's another component that, this generation is familiar with, is just that being able to live in those sort of virtual worlds. And that's really what this provides, is that opportunity. Very cool.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And, the funny thing about it is when you're in just a normal 3D tour and you're by yourself, it's a little boring, in my opinion. But when you gamify it with our product and you're in there with family, friends, coworkers, your listing agent, whoever it is, it feels like real life. I
Yeah.
often will meet with people in a 3D environment, in one of the housings or one of the houses, sorry, and we will end up migrating to the kitchen and having a conversation in the
Because
kitchen.
that's
And
where
I'm
you
like, this
go
is,
when you're in a home.
it's just so strange because this is exactly what happens in real life at my house. We're always standing around the kitchen island, and it makes it more fun. So you don't, if people go into a 3D tour by themselves and they get lost and they have a bad experience, they're by themselves, so they just kind of struggle and leave. Where with a listing agent, if you're in there with your client and you're both kind of working through it, the adoption is so much better for a great experience. And the adoption rate of them being able to use it by themselves later goes
Yeah.
way up. So that gamification, that fun that comes along with visiting a 3D tour with your friends. So maybe your partner's at work and you're at home, you can jump into the property
Yeah.
together and explore it together and see whether it's going to fit. And it's just, I don't know, I love it. I love our products. I'm passionate about them. I sell them, and I really think it is going to really change the way people view 3D tours, and it's going to become, we feel that sooner or later, we hope sooner, every listing is going to have a 3D tour and floor plan because it needs it. There's just so much
Yeah.
value that comes along with it. And when we were developing our product, when we were working on it, we knew there was a few things that we had to address. And one of them was the user experience. So ease of use for the customer, which we've I think we've nailed on the head. You need to have high quality images, which we have. So we have a high quality product. It needs to be easy to create and inexpensive. And we knock all those boxes off and we make it really, really easy and really, really fun to use. So now that we're front and center, and now that we're partnered with Reach, especially, we're really excited on where this is going to go and how quickly we're going to see growth in the market for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just nailed kind of, sort of the next direction that I was hoping to go, which is, it's great to have these experiences, and it's like an improved experience over what has kind of already been in the market. And there are a lot of factors that make it even more compelling today than maybe it has been over the last 5 or 6 years. But the question is really like, what do you do to align yourself with how that trend evolves, right? Because all trends evolve over time. They don't just become a trend, right? And another thing that really resonated with me is, as my 11-year-old and I had the opportunity to visit HQ back in the summer, and she happened to have been gifted a 360 camera, last year for her birthday. And so we were on vacation. Of course, she has the camera with her because what do? You take photos on vacation. And so she happened to have it. And she's Lynn's like, yeah, like just sign up for an account and you can create a 3D tour. Well, that became a cool thing. Like all of a sudden I now have an 11-year-old creating these really cool kind of 3D tour experiences in a whole bunch of different places, right? And so, from a trend point of view, super applicable to real estate, but all of a sudden, just through my 11-year-old's eyes, I could see a number of different applications to have this same technology apply to kind of gamifying or creating a virtual world in other areas as well. So any thinking about kind of, future segments that you guys find interesting or may want to be, or may be exploring in the future?
Yeah, so our 3D tours are very special because they're camera agnostic. So any image works within our 3D tours to create it, right? So any equirectangular, which means the width is exactly 2 times
Right.
the height, and it's a 360 or panorama, you can create our 3D tours with. So we're not even limited to photos. We have clients that are creating 360 rendered, so CGI images, and creating, well, there's a big company that just changed their name, but creating metaverse type of things within these environments. So you can actually, we have customers that are creating virtual worlds or virtual environments to showcase products. One that comes to mind right away is an art gallery. So he's created a virtual art gallery that has room for 30 pieces of art that can just be, changed in and out within this art gallery. And it's a virtual art gallery that you can visit, look at these pieces of art. You can have meetings within that art gallery with the people that are selling that art, showcasing that type of stuff. So there's a lot of possibilities to create, these spaces that can be gamified, that can be fun, that can be great to explore, that you can, interact and do certain things with. And we definitely see the trend moving that way when it comes to, metaverse and everything that came out with what Facebook had announced, and where they see things going, creating these virtual worlds where, you're going to see conferences and concerts and, video games being played in these virtual environments. And it's definitely driving the charge. So when you think that people are growing up seeing these types of things, my children growing up being exposed to all this metaverse type stuff, you don't think they're going to want to see a 3D tour of a house when they're going to make that purchase in 5 or 10 years?
Yeah.
It's easy to see where the market is going. It's easily seen how quickly it's going to be adopted. And there's a lot of portals and a lot of MLSs that are looking to get more interaction. You want people to engage in that listing. So it's not just clicking through 4 or 5 photos now. I want you to spend time on this listing. I want you to enjoy it, have fun, get immersed in it. Spend more time here and more clicks here. That's going to be more value to everyone involved. The real estate agent, the person selling the home, the portal that's listing the home, the MLS that's involved in it, and of course us.
Of course. So I want to just kind of temper, whatever the word, whichever adjective it is, the conversation a little around that question, Jeremy, because there is a lot of competition in this space, right? This, only because of the trends, right? And it's, I think for all of the reasons you've articulated, that vision is shared. So tell me a little bit about, what differentiates Urban Immersive from the competition in a way that, all of those markets that you just talked about, MLSs, portals, et cetera, would find value in partnering with you, and, kind of what you're cautiously optimistic about.
Yeah, so 3D tours it's definitely becoming more of a mature market. So there are lots of options out there. We find ourselves, what puts us ahead is some of our key features like our UI Meet 3D and all the add-on features that we talked about. But as a baseline for a 3D tour, we have everything that you would ever want and expect. So we check all the boxes for what someone needs as a 3D tour. What sets us apart is really our flexibility. Again, you can work with multiple cameras, you can shoot. There's no limit to the size of the project that you can create. So we have people shooting, 400 square foot apartments in New York City and Toronto, all the way up to, 10,000, 12,000 square foot mega mansions, up to 150 to 300,000 square foot commercial spaces, offices, warehouses, up to full hotels and full resorts, so you can shoot indoor, outdoor, as small or as big as that you want. And it's a really easy process to do. So a lot of the problems with some of the 3D tour creators out there, or the issues that people find, is the time needed required on site to create those properties. Ours is one of the fastest and easiest ways to create a 3D tour of a property. So a regular 2,500 square foot house would require somewhere around 30 to 35 panoramas. Using our app with a Ricoh camera, you could create a 3D tour in about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so 20 to 25 minutes on site, you upload directly to our platform from the app, and we will deliver the 3D tour with the floor plan back to you in less than 24 hours. So you have a really quick turnaround, you have less time required on site, and you don't have a ton of expensive equipment costs up front. The cameras that we use start anywhere from around $400 US up to $1,000. So it's more affordable for real estate agents, brokerages, and photographers to adapt that equipment. And then you're saving time on site. Again, it comes back to my main point. Photography is selling the house. We think that is still the same, but we think that the value added from 3D tours and floor plans is going to be just shooting way up. We think that everyone's going to want to have them, and you're going to need to have it as part of your listing. So you want to view it as an add-on. So it needs to be affordable and quick. You don't want to be spending a lot of time and a lot of money on it. You want it to be something that is really going to add value to your product and add value to that listing and create that interaction within the space.
Love it. So just rounding this out a little bit, I'd love to know, one thing that you are super optimistic about for the future of Urban Immersive, and maybe something that you're a little bit more cautious about in how the market will evolve, or in how you're just cautious about in the context of growing the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So optimistic because our technology is camera agnostic and we work with everything. We see cameras really improving over the next,
Mhm.
couple of years. Obviously, it's a very fast evolving market. A lot of the companies that have been involved in the DSLR market, like Canon and Nikon, we're
Right.
starting to see get into the 360 space. So we think the image quality is going to continue to go, exponentially better, higher megapixel, all that type of stuff. So we think the shooting process is going to become cheaper, easier with that equipment, which works really, really well for our technology and our 3D tours being easier adopted. Even we see cell phones probably adapting to be able to do full 360 images rather than having to take multiple images while you're
Right.
spinning in a circle. We think they'll probably have the same megapixel front and back to be able to do a full 360, and that'll work really well with our technology as well. So I'd say that is what we're most excited about. People having access to the equipment. You talk about your 11-year-old having a 360 camera. That's going to become the norm. So it's going to be
Yeah,
really easy
exactly.
to utilize the technology that we offer. Um, what we're always a little bit more timid about or concerned about would be the real estate market as a whole. You
Mm,
see there's always going to be fast and slow times for it, with how hot the market has been lately, how exciting that it's been. We like to see kind of that middle market. If it's a really, really slow market, it's not that great for people that are in our business, and if it's a really, really hot market, it's not
right.
that great either. So we'd just like everyone to just calm down and relax a little bit, and then we'd be really happy. So we always have to be concerned about number of listings, number of days on market. These types of things really drive a lot of the products that we offer and drive the adoption. So
Amazing. So good. Jeremy, this has been a real pleasure. I've learned a ton about, the space and how you guys are thinking about the evolution of this space, but also, just around the technology and the application, because I think it's one of the things that we're starting to take for granted a little bit, the fact that visualization just happens. And I think, how it happens and why it happens is as important as, kind of that we have it, right? So it's not good enough just to have visualization any longer. I think
yeah,
what we're seeing are trends around the demand for higher quality, efficiency, and speed to access, right? I want to be able to
and
access that information as quickly as possible.
and if you're a real estate agent in North America now and you want to set yourself apart, I mean, there's only about 6% of active listings that have a 3D tour with them. 6%. I mean,
Interesting.
if you want to get more clients and offer more value to them, you're
Great
going to want to choose a
differentiator.
3D tour. Exactly. Choose that 3D tour that's easy, that's affordable to use as an add-on product with a floor plan, and it's going to set yourself apart. It's going to get you more listings, right? Start to
Amazing.
lead that charge, because I think we all know where it's going. So let's just get there a little bit quicker. Let's work together to get there.
Love it. Um, anything that we haven't covered that you want to make certain you have an opportunity to tell the listeners or the viewers?
Well, I think we've covered a lot. I think people should visit our website,
Yep.
urbanimmersive.com. We have an interesting gallery there where you can see a lot of 3D tours. I spend my time, going there and looking through some of the active listings that we have, especially with travel restrictions. That's how I kind of travel and get my travel bug taken care of, by viewing some properties, because we're doing stuff in Indonesia. We do a lot of stuff throughout the
Yes.
States and in Canada. So it's a lot of fun to look through some of those listings and check out and learn more about some of the other products that we offer. But just know our name, just be aware of us and see if your photographers are using our type of products. If you have questions, they can reach out to me. We definitely do demo and training for it, and we do everything that you need from A to Z when it comes to media for real estate listings. So it's a lot of fun.
Love it. So visit the website, which is urbanimmersive.com. Is there any other way that folks can get a hold of you or the team if they want to experience a demo or learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can reach me at Jeremy Bowman at urbanimmersive.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find. We're on
Great.
Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. We're all over the place. Just find us.
Okay.
And even if you can't find us, just go to the Reach Canada
That's right.
2022 and you'll find us right there.
All right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy. Really appreciate the conversation today. Lots of great insights. Best of luck to you, and looking forward to continuing the journey.
Absolutely. I always have so much fun with you, Lynette. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
Okay. Yeah.